So you have to really understand your target audience, the journey. And this is really like how we do like brand consulting. It's the same logic. And so you can think about, okay, so people these days use YouTube to get information, to discover new brands, new products.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AI SEO Insider podcast. My name is Chris Raulf. I'm an AI SEO and GEO expert, kind of Boulder SEO Marketing, a boutique AI SEO agency. So this podcast is where we cut through the AI hype and where I have a chance to talk to people who are getting real results. I'm actually thrilled to have Grace Leung. I hope I said your last name correctly on this podcast today. Did I say your last name correct, Grace?
Yes, perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, cool. And Grace, I prepared a long introduction. I don't think I'm going to read this. I think I'm going to let you introduce yourself here in a little bit. But you're actually one of the people that, in my opinion, is the real deal. I personally watch all of your videos. You're an educator in the AI SEO space and so on. And there are a lot of people. It's a very crowded space, right? Where everybody, is trying to get into that space and be an expert. And a lot of people share videos and trainings, et cetera, et cetera. You're actually one of the people that I personally follow. And then also my AI team were actually paying to have access to your platform. So well done. And I'm very excited to have you on my podcast today. So we're going to talk about, among other things in this podcast, how you became one of these experts in this space that are actually relevant. What does it take to get an audience that's willing to pay for your content? So we'll talk AI, SEO, GEO, and many other things. So Grace, if you don't mind, if you want to briefly introduce yourself to our audience, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you so much, Chris, for having me on your show. For those of you who are listening, I'm Grace. I'm currently working as a digital growth consultant and educator. So I mainly work with brands, helping them to drive online growth. And my primarily jam is always SEO and content growth strategy. These days, I have a YouTube channel, also share how I use AI or maybe how other brands or marketers can use AI to do SEO and for online brand growth strategy. So how they can really use AI for like a wide range of marketing tasks. And aside, I also have a private community in where we go much deeper, and also we gather folks from the same background, like how we can collect or exchange learnings and what we found works and not working. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you live in Canada now, is that correct?
Yes, I'm based in Canada.
Where do you live? What city or area?
In Vancouver.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about the journey into AI and SEO education. How in the world did you, I looked obviously at your LinkedIn, I did research on your background. You have a very traditional marketing background. What made you decide to become a thought leader, educator in this space? Just take us back, walk us through the journey if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been working in this field for over 10 years now. And a fun fact is I actually graduated in with the IT degree. So that is my first degree. And then later on, I just kind of transitioned to marketing because I found myself really enjoy like doing creative stuff. And later on, I also get my MBA degree. And that is why I always think, how can a marketer also able to do technical stuff? And I start to realize that is my strength. Because for most marketers, they come from, they have the proper marketing education, but sometimes they may have the lens of like doing technical. And then that helps me to like break into SEO because that helps me to do, because most of us know SEO involve little bit like technical stuff. You have to review the coding. You have to, like there's certainly technical aspect of that. And I found I really enjoy doing that. And then until like I started my career in as a product marketer in a tech startup, and then also then later on transitioned to e-commerce for another 6 years. And by the way, before I was working in Asia, and then until I moved to Canada, and then also like working in a tech company. I remember that time around 2022. Is that right? Yeah, that time ChatGPT came out.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because I still remember my teammate, okay, look at this. This is super cool. And then I tried it. Wow, this is very powerful. Literally you can just ask it to prepare the marketing copy, doing like persona analysis. And that time I just find, okay, this is great potential for marketer. And that's why that time I start to like do self-learning. I try to like do learning in the weekend, and then like kind of document like what are the learnings, and then how I can use it for my day job. And also that time, I don't know why I just start a YouTube channel, because that time I was like transition from Asia to Canada. I just want to find some side hobbies. It's like it's just started. Yeah, I haven't really planned. Although a lot of people ask me about, okay, your YouTube channel is super cool. How did you get started? And I didn't even have a plan. I just want to start something new, like see if that work. And then suddenly one video took off. And that's why, like what you just now asked about how I transitioned to education. It's just like that. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
That is very cool. Similar kind of story how I got into SEO. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it's just like it just happened, and I knew I had to do it. I quit my job one day to the other. I'm like, I'm going to do this. That was a long time ago. It's a similar story. I think things happen for a reason sometime, right? And it's very cool. So you mentioned your YouTube channel. Obviously, I watch your videos. We've had breakfast together many times. I watch your videos when I have breakfast. I think they're, when you put out on YouTube, perfect length, right? It's like good enough to get me even more interested. And then sign up for your newsletter, and then, oh, let's check out the community, et cetera, et cetera. What's the plan? Like if somebody is listening to this podcast and they are an expert like you, what kind of tips do you have? Is there like a strategy that you deployed in terms of what were the next steps? YouTube, then newsletter, et cetera, et cetera. How did you build what you are doing now?
Mm. I think first of all, okay. So first of all, I haven't really planned all this in the first place. But if I'm looking back, I think first of all, you have to understand like what is your product. And this is just like how brand grows. It doesn't just apply to educational. It also applies to a SaaS product or any like service brand. You have your product first, and then start do marketing, because then you want to target your audience. And this is where is become more important, is how your audiences are finding information, because different industry is different. So perhaps maybe my end product is the community. I am targeting like targeting marketers who are interested in AI, or brands owners who are interested in AI. So how these people are researching information and making decisions already. So you have to really understand your target audience, the journey. And this is really like how we do like brand consulting. It's the same logic. And so you can think about, okay, so people these days use YouTube to get information, to discover new brands, new products. So that would sit on as the top of funnel. And then, okay, people want to dig deeper. Then you have like middle funnel to nurture them. Then you have a newsletter. And then ultimately, you want them to join your community, or like maybe buy your products, or maybe like ask you like to do one-on-one consultation. Because people wouldn't just, okay, I know I need Grace help to help my brand grow. And they would need to be educated in the first place. They would need to be inspired in the first place. So you have to be seen. in the first place. You have to map out this journey, understand what are the channel where your target audience are actually from, because different industry different. For example, some of the brand that I work with, maybe their target audience are more from the Pinterest. They're using Pinterest. They're not really using YouTube at all. Or maybe for some other brand, maybe a beauty brand, Instagram is the go-to. Then you have to build your awareness, getting attention and build an audience first. Because once you start building an audience, like everything will be much more easy. But however, you still you need to map out like the journey. What is your end product? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So your YouTube videos, I gotta say, they're pretty technical. They're pretty, like, if I just watch your YouTube videos, right? Potentially people like me or like my AI team, they're going to be able to do that stuff, right? Like you go very deep, very technical. It's not just like, this is Claude and this is a Claude skill and, that's it. You hit us with very in-depth know-how. Is that deliberate that you want to port people over from, you're showcasing your expertise and you're doing a really good job, right? It's like, wow, Grace, she's the real deal. Is that deliberate that you're trying to get people then over to your platform? And tell us more about what is the platform where people are paying? How much does it cost? What do they get out of that?
Mhm. So my private community is more not just access the resource or prime resource. So every month we also have like live workshop. We have like Q&A section. We also do some member-led section. And this is like what I want to position the community. And actually I don't want to position the community as a resource library, but more about like how we can get like-minded people together to exchange your learning. I think this is what a community is meant for, because if I just need to like sell information, I can just like build an info product, and I don't really need to like have a community. But what makes community really unique to me is the human, like the people
Yeah.
inside the community. Yeah. And so for the price, currently we are like a monthly membership price, like $67. And yeah, basically you join it in, and you can access the resource and also the workshop, and also you can connect with other members. So some of our members, they may like you, agency owner, and some may be a marketer who are working in an agency, or some might be a brand owners who try to be the AI champion for the company,
Yeah.
and then like upskill the employees. So I would say this is something I really want, like gather people with diverse expertise, not just about from SEO, perhaps maybe someone here also expertise in email marketing, or maybe a marketing in certain niche. And this is what makes community really meaningful to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we signed up, right? Because as the owner of an AI SEO agency, I need to stay on top of things, but it's impossible. Like every day I try to spend about 2 hours trying to keep up with what's going on. It's like every 15 minutes, there's a new model coming out, right? There's new features, this and that. So I found your community extremely helpful. We're paying for it. We're going to put the link right below in the description field of the YouTube video. I'm not going to make money off that. There's no affiliate link or anything. So if you're listening to this and you want to learn real good content, sign up for that community. I find it overwhelming, right? I run an agency with about 20 people. So there's a lot of things that I do every day. Amongst other things, I try to keep up with AI models, features, etc., etc. How do you have a team of people that help you, or are you actually spending hours every day trying to keep up? How do you stay informed and relevant?
I'm still a one-person team. Yeah, to
Oh
be
wow,
honest.
holy cow.
Although I have my video editor, but yeah, it's just like a part-time video editor. But for other like work, I still rely myself and the AI like helping me to do that. And just what you mentioned is very real. And I would say it's not just for you. Most of us, even I myself, sometimes feels overwhelmed because it just changed so fast. Right? It even feels like, okay, why bother to learn this stuff?
Yeah.
Because anyway, it will be outdated the next day. So this day, I have intentionally to tell myself I just need to be more intentional. Yeah, and another thing is really understand my pain point. What is
Yeah.
that my business need? But of course, I still need to catch up with ChatGPT, Claude, because some of my clients they're actually like using ChatGPT or Gemini. I would say for me, it's not just for Claude. Although I know like some of my audience, they're really into Claude. But I would say my advice is just get started with what you already have today. Even though perhaps your company, the company that you're working is using Gemini mainly or using ChatGPT mainly, that you feel, okay, I'm getting behind because I have no access to cloud skills. It doesn't matter because if the thing is moving so fast, the same time, the AI company or like ChatGPT will always be there. It's just a matter of time. So you don't need to worry about like being left behind because a lot of people actually still treat AI as a chatbot. You're not really
Yeah.
missing anything. And I would say just get started with what you already have today and then understand what the tasks that take up most of your time and then try to see if you can streamline it, build a repeatable workflow and ultimately automate with the AI stack you have.
Yeah, I'm a big picture person. I'm the head of a company, right? So I can't get too detailed into all the little things that AI can do. So I found that to be a good approach where, I think about it from a big picture standpoint is like, what is it that can help my company become more efficient, right? By the end of the year, etc. So I think that's a good tip where don't get overwhelmed. Try to focus on things that you can actually do and implement, and that's going to move the needle. That's how I approach it. So we actually connected through SE Ranking, my favorite SEO platform. We taught a course. It was like individual videos. You did one, I did one. I think everything connected, right? How important is it for you to guest appear on other platforms, do podcasts like you're on my podcast now? How important is that for a creator? I mean, you're in the creator space, right?
Mm.
How important is that to be on other platforms featured?
Yes, this is actually getting much more important because especially these days with AI search, Google will not just assess your credibility just from what you say about yourself. So Google and like other AI search engines will constantly look for authority source, especially in your niche. And I would say this is way more important than just getting mentioned in an authority media. And because that will signal AI search engines that you have real experience, you have real expertise in the niche that you want to own. And so I think understanding that clearly in the first place is super important. Perhaps you are a D2C brand or perhaps like maybe in my case, if I want to dominate in an AI SEO, AI marketing niche, then I have to make sure I talk about this topic. I have to like being seen in your podcast because your podcast is about like AI for SEO. So everything's like stack up and then create a strong signals to AI search, to Google that you are not just what you say about yourself, but like how others like see you. And then if others also see you as an expert in the field.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the strongest EEAT signals that you can gain, right? So, by the way, I now rank number one if you do a search for AI SEO expert. Number one, my personal website in
Oh,
Google. Not sure how it's in Canada, but believe me, I don't think I'm the number one expert, right? But I'm
yeah.
good at SEO, and I do a lot of guesting on other podcasts, and it's one of these things that will get you up in the rankings and also shown in platforms like Claude, Perplexity, etc. And by the way, so we have created a very sophisticated GEO strategy, generative engine optimization strategy, and man, it is paying off. Like we're getting more and more leads now from Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, etc. So
Yeah.
this is very important. Anybody listening to this podcast, take advantage of what Grace is offering on her platform. So that community. So that being said, Harold, I think you spoke with Harold, my head of AI. So he told me about your prompting library. Okay. Prompting is one of these skills. I think that if you want to stay relevant in marketing or in business, you need to master prompting. Tell us a
Mm.
little bit more about, how do you prompt? Tell us a little bit about the prompting library, because I think that's gold, right? You need to know how to prompt to get the best information, results out of these tools. Tell us
Mm.
about prompting.
Yeah, for sure. So for the methodology or like the framework that I use is like, first of all, we have to understand what is prompting eventually. Like
Yeah.
prompting to me, like my definition is clear thinking and clear communication. So that means you really understand what you want and then you can communicate it in a clear way that fits for a machine. So these days people talk about, okay, prompting is not important. Prompting is dead. But I don't think so because if we understand prompting is actually like a part of communication and thinking, then prompting is still very important. And so these days I don't really prompt from scratch, but I understand like what is my goal? What is the output look like? What is the good thing that looks like? And also to give in like some context. It's just like how you brief your teammate or how you brief your sub colleague to do the task. And then I will first let it give me like a draft, like give me prompt like that for this task, and then it will give you the draft. But then I will like tweak it and then also like make changes, iterate, and then fix it like for my own use. And I also recommend to organize prompt by use case. You're not organize it like by model, but organized by different use case. Perhaps you have a prompt that is like for research, audience research, and then a prompt like for content, like gap analysis, or even maybe broader like SEO or by different teams if you have a big marketing function. So like prime library like for SEO and then like for pay marketing and the thing is you don't need to build a like robust library. You just need to save those that you often use. And because these days you like Claude, I use Claude a lot, you can
Hmm.
just the skills and essentially a skills is just like it's actually a prompt instruction
Yeah.
and you can bake it into a skills, then you can call it, and you can also set up some commands to trigger it whenever you need it. So all I wanted to say is prompting is actually communication. You have to understand what good looks like for you. Perhaps you need to like give them an example. I actually have a video about prompting because people always ask me about like how I prompt, and that wasn't a really very popular video, but literally the prompt that was all the prompting techniques I use. So number one I found is giving examples. Always show like what good looks like and don't just tell it. For example, you're building a landing page, you don't just like ask it like give it some the text, but give it examples or your own tone of voice and let it to do an analysis first and then and iterate from there. That is like a future prompting, like giving examples and also reverse engineering. So there are lots of like prompting techniques out there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually spend 6 days prompting. If I do things, I'm like all in. So I spend 6 days using all the large language models with each other, improving. Hey, it's like, hey, I use this tool to do this. Help me improve it, right? And then I took a massive prompt library to my business partner and I told him, build me a tool around these prompts, which is now a tool called BSM Copilot that does all of our geo stuff, right? So that was really an eye opener to me, what is possible with prompting. And again, it's one of these skills that I think any modern marketer cannot live without anymore. If you're listening to this podcast, if you don't want to spend 6 days prompting, just sign up for Grace's community. Great prompting examples there. All right, so now we got ChatGPT, we got Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok. The list goes on. And I think your videos, you still use many of those platforms. Are you gonna sort of focus on, let's say, Claude only? They've just overtook ChatGPT in terms of downloads, right, in apps, etc. Are you thinking about becoming like doing expertise in just one platform? Or are you going to continue to do multiple platforms?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I would continue like do multiple platform because the fact that some of my clients they're not using cloud, and I also because over some more coaching training and I have to keep up with myself. But personally, like for my business, I try to stay lean and to focus on just maximum like 1 to 2 models because at the end of the day, your attention span is very limited. Even if you have a bundle of AI tools, you can't really use them all because your time is limited. So that's why I would suggest like maybe your audience or like whoever is listening, just focus on what you get comfortable. Some people may enjoy using ChatGPT, some may be more into Claude. And because AI models have different personality, right? Claude is more empathetic, like ChatGPT is these days more logical. And so I would say that's also maybe a part of the consideration for you. And also like how it can integrate it to your workflow and system. If your tools already able to, like ChatGPT can connect it, like that's fine. You can just stick with ChatGPT because so, previously I have a client, he is using ChatGPT and he is wondering, okay, should I just switch to Claude? Because it seems I heard a lot of great things. But I would say, yeah, that is another learning curve for you because you're already using ChatGPT, you already have the workflow. Which part doesn't work for you? So I encourage people always stick with what works for them today until they have more use cases, until they realize, okay, their existing tech stack can't really serve them anymore. It's the time they need to find alternatives. But don't just switch because the market is saying it's bad
Yeah.
or your neighbor is saying it's bad. So otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Yeah. So we actually made that switch. We started on ChatGPT
Mm.
and we just switched to Claude. It's just like the results that we're seeing are so much better. So in my humble opinion, for SEO, Claude is killing it. And yesterday, so I teach part of a master's degree for the University of Strasbourg online degree. And I made my students do an assignment where we do in-depth prompting, right? And we tested all the tools. And I got to say, the clear winner was like Claude, hands down. So I'm excited to see where, they can compete with each other, right? Where is this going?
Yeah, yeah, this is an effort for Claude.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, cool. So let's talk about SEO tools. Obviously, so I'm a big fan of SE ranking. I'm also a brand ambassador for SE ranking. What SEO tools do you use? How do you connect them? Like when you do work with clients, like what's your SEO toolkit? What does that look like besides the large language models?
Mm. So for technical SEO, screaming for, and I also use S ranking, and I also use Ahrefs, and then like yeah to do like research and Noble LM. Noble LM is a
Oh yeah.
really really excellent tool. You can like use it for content gap analysis, content research, finding what doesn't work for your content, and then to rank higher, and then find those signals. So I would say, and also those AI models like Claude, I use yes Claude to build different workflow, and I have that's to organize my project. So I would say yeah, this like mostly summarize like the text that I use. Although I know there's so many like other AI tools, those rank checker like AI
Right.
search
Yeah.
results tracking, and a lot of maybe SEO workflow builder. But I just want to stay lean and in terms of the tools that I use.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then it's fascinating. I mean, there's more and more APIs where you can connect, Claude or whatever your platform is to other tools. So we're making those connections with, SE ranking, Search Console, et cetera, et cetera. It's incredible how powerful these large language models get when you connect them with other tools, including Gmail, Calendar, et cetera, et cetera. It's fascinating. There's so many tools out there. I'm sure you have tested many of them. Can you are there some tools that you have tried and then abandoned? And if so, why? And if you don't want to name them, that's okay. But tell me about the selection process. Like, how does a tool make your cut?
Previously, there was not quite an SEO tool, but it's a tool that is create storytelling visuals. So I tried that. Yeah, because that time I heard a lot of good feedback from the community about this tool, and then that just maybe tempted to try it out. But after trying out, I found okay, this is very generic, and the visuals is more like a template style. It's not having a unique style. It feels like it's so template, like generic. And that is the reason like why I just didn't like continue to use that tool, just try out and then I found it's not fitting me. So I think my learning is I always start with my use case. What is my biggest pain point? Because I'm a big fan of storytelling. I really like those visuals, and that's why I always find okay, if that's perfect, then I can like find a tool that can do this stuff. I could just paste the content, and then it will create the storytelling visuals. But then why I didn't do that is because it's just not that useful at all. Like even though it's free and it's yeah, it's very low cost anyway, but it's not like really solving the problem that I have because ultimately I'm not just looking for a storytelling tool, but also able to convey my message in a unique way. Yeah.
I have a lot more questions. Well, let's talk about AI generated content. So I think I have figured it out. I created the virtual Chris, right? I do a lot
Mm.
of speaking. I publish a lot of like content that I actually created. So I built a virtual Chris that sits in on Claude as a project, and it basically has a brain where I feed net new content into it.
Mm.
It's been accumulating that brain over the last year and a half. And obviously, a lot more goes into it. But with the help of Virtual Chris, I can create content that will rank, I kid you not, in 24 hours.
Whoa.
100% AI generated content, but it's done the right way. And obviously, as I've been doing SEO for 30 years, so that's a powerful combination.
Yes. I need to access this. I need to learn this.
I'll show you off the record. Yeah, that's my superpower. Yeah, I can show you exactly. Yeah, it's really incredible, and it works so well. Like, when you consult with clients, how do you approach that topic? Because two of the things that are critically important if you generate AI generated content using a methodology like what I just explained is
Mm.
the EEAT score of the person associated with the content and the domain authority, right? How long has the website been around, etc. If
Okay.
you work with clients that, they don't have a very strong website or the person like is not really recognized as an expert. Like, how do you address that if you help them create content? Is that something that you do? Love to
Mm.
hear your thoughts.
Mm. I would say like if the domain is not new, really start with social media first this day.
Yeah.
I would advise, yeah, and not to start with. Of course, you can still start writing content like on your webpage and like really doing your case. Maybe you have a really comprehensive checklist, make it super useful. Then I think it's still fine. But these days, I found like social media is really getting the love from Google. And it really getting the love that you can access to your target audience much faster because Google also start ranking social media content, not just YouTube, maybe Threads, maybe like other Instagram, and because your audience these days they are just more into social media, they just don't try to look through the blue links, especially if you are just a new brand that's starting out. Then I would say like try to build the authority because unlike web page ranking, it has to depends on Google algo unless your content is superior. But for social media, you will have the visibility boost like on the first day, just when you publish the content. So it's immediately boost. But however, for Google, you have to wait. Okay, when Google will index my web page and then we Google. So it takes a little bit more time. But I would say if you have like an age domain, maybe already well established, then like definitely try to understand what audience are asking. The question that they're asking, try to dig through the long tail queries that you already rank for from Google Search Console. And this works great because these questions, you don't just prepare the web page content, but you can also prepare the content on social media because these are the same people. The same people will access your information no matter on YouTube or on social or on web page. These are the same people. Because some misunderstanding is I found people when they try to create content is they try to base on certain topic. So for example, if they want to target people who are here in the SEO, they will try to really limit it by topic. So SEO, we have on-page SEO, we have AI search. Of course, these are the topics that they're interested in. But how you can understand your target audience in a 360-degree, that is way more important because for someone who in SEO, perhaps they also care about their career. Perhaps they also care about some other stuff. Then you want to have a robust content strategy that cover every topics that they care about and not just about SEO. Even though that people seems just care about SEO, perhaps like what are the adjacent content topic that you can create?
I think, I mean, I talk with a lot of potential clients, right? And I mean, what we're doing is not rocket science. To be honest, like anybody can learn everything that we do. I just find that a lot of people are lazy, including me. I'm pretty lazy. But if I
Sure.
find something that works, I'm all in. So I find that, AI slope is real because most people, they just do very, very basic prompting, right? There's no real plan. There's no like clustering or like, creating themed topics. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's not that hard to be successful with good content, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
How worried are you? You have younger kids, the stuff that you are teaching. And by the way, my daughter is going to intern with me this summer. She's at
Oh,
university right now. The stuff that you and I are talking about, I'm an educator as well, right? Not
mhm.
your extent, and I don't have a community. Like, how worried are you for the next generation? I do see the AI tsunami. I see it. Like,
Mm.
we're now adding virtual AI employees, that assist my team members, and we're not hiring real people anymore. You're a mother. Like, how do you think about what we're doing, you and I are doing? Like, what do you see in their future?
Wow, this is yeah. How do I
Yeah.
say? Let me think about it. I agree. Yeah, AI tsunami is here, and a lot of like it just disrupt a lot of way we're doing, not just more marketing, like a lot. Like so for the next generation, I'm not really too sure, but I would imagine the education, at least the education, will become more personalized.
Yeah.
Really, perhaps just my prediction. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, I no offense. Like maybe in the future there's no university
Yeah.
anymore. Maybe because you just have to personalize that your tutor, your educator, and then how you really accelerate the learnings these days for most of the young people is by doing. It's learned by doing, and this is also I can't remember where I hear about how to speed up the learning is whenever you spend 1 hour studying, learning, you spend 5 hours to doing. So that is a ratio 1 to 5.
Hmm.
1 to 5, yes. So that means you can ask AI like a question, but then how you really accelerate it is you doing by yourself. And I would say for future, young generation will have more, not sure if I should say freedom, but I would say they will seek their own path compared to the past generation. Because for past generation, when the information access is become more limited, there's not much like transparency, then people just stick for the same company, for the same employer. But these days, the young generation, or maybe the future, people just want to do their own stuff. They just want to see, okay, I don't want to learn mathematics. I don't want to learn programming. I have something that really excites me and I have AI to give me the personalized plan just tailored for me, and then I can like learn by doing and then like figure the stuff out. This is something I already feel this happening, but might be in not the near future, but it feels like that is the direction we're heading. I don't know, but feel free to share your experience.
Yeah, it's
That's just how.
crazy. Yeah. I just know that what my daughter is learning at university, it's way behind, right? So she's gonna be an intern. She's gonna talk with Harold, with John, my marketing guy, with everybody that's using AI at my company at like how we use it right there. And I think education is going to shift. I agree with you. I think universities are already going out of business, many of them. So I think what you are doing has a very bright future where people get access to real information in real time. But who knows? Who knows what the future is going to hold, right? So that being said, I want to be mindful of your time. Final question before rapid fire. Like, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to someone listening right now who knows they need to integrate AI into their SEO work, but feels overwhelmed by how fast everything is changing? Like, what would be, if you have one piece of advice?
So, first of all is review and reflection. So if you want to use AI for SEO, so I assume you're already into SEO. So review like your existing tasks, your day-to-day tasks. What kind of task that takes up you most of the time? What are the tasks that you can actually outsource to AI? And don't think AI is a machine. Try to think of it like a teammate. If you have a teammate, if money is not a concern, if salary is not a concern, okay, it's free. Like these are free resources. So what are the tasks that you can outsource to someone else, like for your day-to-day tasks? Try not to just go to search, okay, AI for SEO use case. Try to reflect your day-to-day task first because AI should work for you. It's not you work for AI because these days is okay, AI is coming out. Okay, I need to test it out. Is then you are become working for AI. So you have to make sure your AI work for you. See what are the areas that AI can help you. Even though if you just want to get ideas, let AI to review your proposal, your client proposal, help you to prepare a prospecting call. It's still a time save. So you try list out every major task so depending on your role, maybe you're more senior role, maybe you're junior, then you list out the tasks that you're doing for SEO and then, okay, this seems like repetitive that I can like outsource with AI. And I would say these days AI is really good for doing repetitive tasks. So, but one of the areas that you might not able to use AI is your judgment, maybe the strategy, maybe making the final decision.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, my goal by the end of the year, we're going to automate 80% of everything that we do. Anything
Mm,
that's repetitive and manual right now, we have people, my employees write down, submit through, a form, and we take a look at everything because if you do it more than once, it can be automated. It's as simple as that. So I completely agree with you. And I think, yeah, if any, who's listening to this podcast, have a systematic approach to that. Just think about, what are the things that you're currently doing manual, like proposal writing, like anything that's being done manual, right? You can probably help people get that automated. So
yes.
let's quickly do rapid fire. Give me a quick answer. Wine or beer?
Um, why?
Wine. Okay.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Uh, beach or mountain?
Mountain.
Oh, Indian or Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Chinese food, yeah. Claude or ChatGPT?
Wow. Caught.
All right, perfect. Hey, Grace, this has been fantastic. You are a very, very knowledgeable person. Are you available for hire if somebody is looking for somebody like you to work one-on-one with? Or like, how does it work working with you?
Yeah, for sure. So I also offer one-to-one like or group consulting. So perhaps maybe you just want to build workflows or like you want to upskill your like how to use AI for marketing. I also offer that. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We're going to put all of the information right below in the description field of this YouTube video. This has been a blast. Grace, thank you so much for being on the AI SEO Insider. As a quick reminder, we're hosting a quarterly AI SEO and generative engine optimization online summit. We're going to put the link right below as well. And maybe we're going to have Grace on one of the future online summits as well. So, Grace, thank you so much. This was a blast. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and stay safe and healthy. Grace, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me again, Chris. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.